Almost by Emily Dickinson, read by Lee Vogler. Within my reach, I could have touched, I might have chanced that way. Soft sauntered through the village, sauntered as soft away. So unsuspected violets within the fields lie low, too late for striving fingers that passed an hour ago. A wounded deer leaps highest, I've heard the hunter tell. 'Tis but the ecstasy of death, and then the break is still. The smitten rock that gushes, the trampled steel that springs, a cheek is always redder, just where the hectic stings. Mirth is the mail of anguish, in which it cautions arm, lest anybody spy the blood, and you're hurt, exclaim. The heart asks pleasure first, and then excuse from pain, and then those little anodynes that deaden suffering, and then to go to sleep, and then, if it should be, the will of its inquisitor, the liberty to die. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Ballad of the Traffickers by Franklin P. Adams. Read for LibriVox by Mark Leader. Up goes the price of our bread. Up goes the cost of our caking. People must ever be fed. Bakers must ever be baking. So though our nerves may be quaking dumbly in arrant despair, pay we the crowd that is taking all that the traffic will bear. Costly to sleep in a bed, costlier yet to be waking. Costly for one who is wed, ruinous for one who's raking. Tradespeople ducking and draking charge you as much as they dare, asking without any faking all that the traffic will bear. Roof that goes over our head, thirst so expensive for slaking. Paper, apparel, and lead, why are their prices at breaking? Yet though our purses be aching, little the traffickers care, getting for chopping and staking all that the traffic will bear. Take thou my verses, I pray, King, letting my guerdon be fair. Even a bard must be making all that the traffic will bear. End of poem. This reading is in the public domain. The Ballad of the Murdered Merchant by Franklin P. Adams. Read for LibriVox by Mark Leader. All stark and cold the merchant lay, all cold and stark lay he. And who hath killed the fair merchant? Now tell the truth to me. Oh, I have killed this fair merchant, will never again draw breath. Oh, I have made this fair merchant to come unto his death. Oh, why hast thou killed this fair merchant, whose corpse I now behold? And why hast caused this man to lie in death, all stark and cold? Oh, I have killed this fair merchant, whose kith and kin make moan, for that he'th stolen my precious time, when he useth the telephone. The telephone bell rang full and clear, the receiver did I seize. Hello, quoth I, and quoth the girl, hello, 1 moment, please. I waited moments ane and twair, and moments 3 and 4, and then I sought the fair merchant and spilled his selfish gore. That businessman who scorneth to waste his moments so rich and fine in calling a man to the telephone shall never again waste mine. And every time a henchwoman shall cause me a moment's loss, I'll forthwith fare to that office and stab to death her boss. Rise up, thou blessed night, and off thy bended knees. Go forth and slay all folk who make us wait.
One moment, please.
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Birthday Walk by Jean Ingelow. Read for LibriVox.org by Michael MacTaggert, Seattle, Washington. Read on his 28th birthday. Written for a friend's birthday. The days of our life are 80 years and 10. A birthday, and a day that rose with much of hope, with meaning rife, a thoughtful day from dawn to close, the middle day of human life. In sloping fields on narrow plains, the sheep were feeding on their knees, as we went through the winding lanes strewed with red buds of alder trees. So warm the day, its influence lent to flagging thought a stronger wing. So utterly was winter spent, so sudden was the birth of spring. Wild crocus flowers in the copse and hedge, in sunlight clustering thick below, sighed for the fir-wood's shaded ledge, where sparkled yet a line of snow. And crowded snowdrops faintly hung their fair heads lower for the heat, while in still air all branches flung their shadowy doubles at our feet. And through the hedge the sunbeams crept, dropped through the maple and the birch, and lost in airy distance slept on the broad tower of Tamworth Church. Then, lingering on the downward way, a little space we resting stood, to watch the golden haze that lay adown that river by the wood. A distance vague, the bloom of sleep, the constant sun had lent the scene. A veiling charm on Dingle's deep lay soft those pastoral hills between. There are some days that die not out, nor alter by reflection's power, whose converse calm, whose words devout, for ever rest the spirit's dower. And they are days when drops a veil, a mist upon the distance past. And while we say to peace, all hail, we hope that always it shall last. Times when the troubles of the heart are hushed, as winds were hushed that day, and budding hopes begin to start, like those green hedgerows on our way. When all within and all around, like hues on that sweet landscape blend, and nature's hand has made to sound the heartstrings that her touch attend. When there are rays within, like those that streamed through maple and through birch, and rested in such calm repose on the broad tower of Tamworth Church. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Boston by Edwin Arlington Robinson. Read for LibriVox.org by Lore. My northern pines are good enough for me, but there's a town my memory uprears, a town that always like a friend appears, and always in the sunrise by the sea. And over it, somehow, there seems to be a downward flash of something new and fierce that ever strives to clear, but never clears, the dimness of a charmed antiquity. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Cassandra by Charles Mackay. Read for LibriVox.org by Sandra. 1. We live in a time of sorrow and change, when the old goeth down to destruction, and the new cometh sadly to life, unshapely, unwelcome, uncared for, when fact is at war with idea, and thought hath no rest for her pinions, nor ground for her wandering feet, a time for tears to flow, like streams when the wild rain tempests blow. Woe to the nations, woe to them! woe. 2. We live in a time of sorrow, when faith hath gone out from the earth, and old superstitions are dying, when opinion hath nothing to stand on but stubble of dry mathematics, and marrowless graveyards of logic, when the few who can think look around them and sigh that all thinking is vain, a time for cheeks to glow at the shame and the wrong of this world below. Woe to the nations, woe to them, woe. 3. We live in a time of sorrow, when the ship that bears our lives hath neither crew nor pilot, and drives through the merciless billows, the cloud and the lightning above it, the rocks and the whirlpools under, when the men and the women and children sit wringing their hands, imploring the gods who alone can save, a time when the world shall know how deep the roots of its misery grow. Woe to the nations, woe to them, woe. 4. We live in a time of sorrow, when men have no thought but of money, and carnal delights it will bring them, of mansions and horses and statues, and power to outglitter their neighbours, when women are slaves to their raiment, and prattle all day about nothings, unless they do worse and outbabble the preachers of bloodshed and hatred. A time when the high and low shall share in the pitiless overthrow. Woe to the nations, woe to them, woe. 5. We live in a time of sorrow, when mockery crushes reason, and heartless laughter settles all doubts that the wise man feels. When reverence hath departed, and worship is dead and buried, or sleeps, if it live at all, in the souls of little children. A time when the ebb and flow murmur alike that the whirlwinds blow. Woe to the nations, woe to them, woe. 6. We live in a time of sorrow, when statesmen and chieftains and rulers have nothing to build on but quicksands, and nothing to do but to cobble the rickety, crazy thrones that can scarcely bear their burdens, and when priests at their mouldering altars no longer have faith in the doctrine they preach for the lucre it brings them, and scarcely conceal from the people the fact that they prophesy falsely. A time for blood to flow, and the earth to stagger to and fro. Woe to the nations, woe to them, woe. End of poem. Read by Sandra, 2022. This recording is in the public domain.
The Charge of the Light Brigade by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Read for LibriVox.org by JakeW. Half a league, half a league, half a league onward, all in the valley of death rode the 600. Forward the Light Brigade, charge for the guns, he said. Into the valley of death rode the 600. Forward the Light Brigade. Was there a man dismayed? Not though the soldier knew someone had blundered. Theirs not to make reply, theirs not to reason why, theirs but to do and die. Into the valley of death rode the 600. Cannon to the right of them, cannon to the left of them, cannon in front of them, volleyed and thundered. Stormed at with shot and shell, boldly they rode and well. Into the jaws of death, into the mouth of hell rode the 600. Flashed all their sabres bare, flashed as they turned in air, sabring the gunners there, charging an army while all the world wondered. Plunged in the battery smoke, right through the line they broke. Cossack and Russian reeled from the sabre stroke, shattered and sundered. Then they rode back, but not the 600. Cannon to the right of them, cannon to the left of them, cannon behind them, volleyed and thundered, stormed at with shot and shell, while horse and hero fell. They that had fought so well came through the jaws of death, back from the mouth of hell, all that was left of them, left of 600. When can their glory fade? Oh, the wild charge they made, all the world wondered. Honour the charge they made, honour the Light Brigade, noble 600. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Coast View by Charles Harper. Read for LibriVox.org by Algy Pug. High mid the shelves of a grey cliff that yet riseth in Babylonian mass above, in a benched cleft, as in the moulded chair of greybeard Time himself, I sit alone, and gaze with a keen wondering happiness out o'er the sea. Unto the circling bend that verges heaven, a vast luminous plain it stretches, changeful as a lover's dream, into great spaces mapped by light and shade in constant interchange. Either 'neath clouds the billows darken, or they shimmer bright in sunny scopes of measureless expanse. 'Tis ocean dreamless of a stormy hour, calm or but gently heaving. Yet, O God, what a blind, fate-like mightiness lies coiled in slumber under that wide, shining face! While o'er the watery gleam, there where its edge banks the dim vacancy, the topmost sails of some tall ship, whose hull is yet unseen, hang as if clinging to a cloud that still comes rising with them from the void beyond, like to a heavenly net drawn from the deep and carried upward by ethereal hands. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Crepuscule by E. Cummings. Read for LibriVox.org by Lee Vogler. I will wade out till my thighs are steeped in burning flowers. I will take the sun in my mouth and leap to the ripe air, alive with closed eyes to dash against darkness. In the sleeping curves of my body shall enter fingers of smooth mastery. With chasteness of sea-girls will I complete the mystery of my flesh. I will rise after 1,000 years, lipping flowers, and set my teeth in the silver of the moon. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Daisy Follows Soft the Sun by Emily Dickinson. Read for LibriVox.org by Winston Tharp. The daisy follows soft the sun, and when his golden walk is done, sits shyly at his feet. He, waking, finds the flower near. "Wherefore, marauder, art thou here?" "Because, sir, love is sweet. We are the flower, thou the sun. Forgive us, if his days decline, we nearer steal to thee, enamored of the parting west, the peace, the flight, the amethyst, night's possibility." End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Dawn on the Headland by William Watson. Read for LibriVox.org by Sherr. Dawn, and a magical stillness. On earth, quiescence profound. On the waters, a vast content, as of hunger appeased and stayed. In the heavens, a silence that seems not mere privation of sound, but a thing with form and body, a thing to be touched and weighed. Yet I know that I dwell in the midst of the roar of the cosmic wheel, in the hot collision of forces and clangor of boundless strife, mid the sound of the speed of the worlds, the rushing worlds, and the peal of the thunder of life. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Departure by Chaman Lal. Read for LibriVox.org by Winston Tharp. 1. This wind sighing recalls certain things. I warned you. Beware of it. Passion has wings, and will return with the years return, like a bird on migrant wings. This wind sighing recalls certain half-remembered things. 2. You have left something of you behind, but you went with eager step, fearful lest what you have left behind should halt your eager step. When the lean years bring you back, you will be as one who has laughed the lean years with strange men. You will be different then. 3. Beyond the gate of the sun I shall not seek you. Before the last days are done, you have sung your last song, you have played your last tune, you have danced your steps too soon. It is not easy when great moments are so few. Beyond the gate of the sun I shall not seek you. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Good Night by Francis Quarles. Read for LibriVox.org by Laurie. Close now thine eyes and rest secure. Thy soul is safe enough, thy body sure. He that loves thee, he that keeps and guards thee, never slumbers, never sleeps. The smiling conscience in the sleeping breast has only peace, has only rest. The music and the mirth of kings are all but very discords when she sings. Then close thine eyes and rest secure. No sleep so sweet is thine, no rest so sure. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Gotham Garden of Verses by Franklin P. Adams. Read for LibriVox by Mark Leader. In summer, when the days are hot, the subway is delayed a lot. In winter, quite the self-same thing. In autumn also, and in spring. And does it not seem strange to you that transportation is askew in this, I pray, restrain your mirth, in this, the greatest town on earth? All night long and every night the neighbors dance for my delight. I hear the people dance and sing like practically anything. Women and men and girls and boys all making curious kinds of noise and dancing in so weird a way I never saw the like by day. So loud a show was never heard as that which yesternight occurred. They danced and sang, as I have said, as I lay wakeful in my bed. They shout and cry and yell and laugh and play upon the phonograph. And endlessly I count the sheep, endeavoring to fall asleep. It's very nice to think this town is full of meat and drink. That is, I think it very nice if my papa but had the price. This town is so full of a number of folks, I'm sure there will always be matter for jokes. End of poem. This reading is in the public domain.
Hypothesis by Ted Olson. Read for LibriVox.org by Michael MacTaggert, Seattle, Washington. A long time ago, I think, God scribbled this universe across a random scrap of infinity, paused midway for lack of ink, and, in the slovenly way of divinity, let it go for better or worse. Now and then, God picks it up again. Earth, I think, is a period, or a semicolon's half, or the dot on an I, not that it matters. And God pores for a minute or two at best over the dog-eared palimpsest, and muses, I wrote this, I know, but what I meant it to be I've quite forgot. I'll have to get rid of this rubbish soon. It will make a bonfire some afternoon. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
In Dells by Howard Buthy Brinton. Read for LibriVox.org by mleigh. In the rich warm light we sat one night at dear Delmonico's. The menu there, with dishes rare, hints gastronomic throes. She scanned it down, twixt smile and frown, and then expressed a wish to try some quails and Newburgh snails, the last a dainty dish. New York, her town, on which we frown, in Philadelphia slow, and not a word I've ever heard of eating snails, you know. I said as much with just a touch of thin-veiled irony, and then she said with turn of head while smiling quizzically, in Quakertown of great renown, they tell me they're so slow they don't eat snail because they fail to catch them. Is it so? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Into Battle by Julian Grenfell. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. The naked earth is warm with spring, and with green grass and bursting trees, leans to the sun's gaze glorying, and quivers in the sunny breeze. And life is colour and warmth and light, and a striving evermore for these. And he is dead who will not fight, and who dies fighting has increase. The fighting man shall from the sun take warmth and life from the glowing earth, speed with the light-foot winds to run, and with the trees to newer birth, and find, when fighting shall be done, great rest, and fullness after dearth. All the bright company of heaven hold him in their high comradeship, the dog-star and the sisters seven, Orion's belt and sworded hip. The woodland trees that stand together, they stand to him each one a friend. They gently speak in the windy weather, they guide to valley and ridge's end. The kestrel hovering by day, and the little owls that call by night, bid him be swift and keen as they, as keen of ear as swift of sight. The blackbird sings to him, Brother, brother, if this be the last song you shall sing, sing well, for you may not sing another. Brother, sing. In dreary, doubtful, waiting hours, before the brazen frenzy starts, the horses show him nobler powers. O patient eyes, courageous hearts! And when the burning moment breaks, and all things else are out of mind, and only joy of battle takes him by the throat, and makes him blind, through joy and blindness he shall know, not caring much to know, that still, nor lead nor steel shall reach him, so that it be not the destined will. The thundering line of battle stands, and in the air death moans and sings, but day shall clasp him with strong hands, and night shall fold him in soft wings. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Journey of Life by William Cullen Bryant. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Beneath the waning moon I walk at night, and muse on human life, for all around are dim uncertain shapes that cheat the sight, and pitfalls lurk in shade along the ground, and broken gleams of brightness here and there glance through and leave unwarmed the death-like air. The trampled earth returns a sound of fear, a hollow sound as if I walked on tombs, and lights that tell of cheerful homes appear, far off, and die like hope amid the glooms. A mournful wind across the landscape flies, and the wide atmosphere is full of sighs. And I, with faltering footsteps, journey on, watching the stars that roll the hours away, till the faint light that guides me now is gone, and, like another life, the glorious day shall open o'er me from the imperial height, with warmth and certainty and boundless light.
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Law of the Jungle by Rudyard Kipling. Read for LibriVox.org by Jonathan Jones. Now this is the law of the jungle, as old and as true as the sky. And the wolf that shall keep it may prosper, but the wolf that shall break it must die. As the creeper that girdles a tree trunk, the law runneth forward and back. For the strength of the pack is the wolf, and the strength of the wolf is the pack. Wash daily from nose-tip to tail-tip. Drink deeply, but never too deep. And remember, the night is for hunting, and forget not the day is for sleep. The jackal may follow the tiger, but cub, when thy whiskers are grown, remember the wolf is a hunter. Go forth and get food of thine own. Keep peace with the lords of the jungle, the tiger, the panther, the bear, and trouble not hath he the silent, and mock not the boar in his lair. When pack meets with pack in the jungle, and neither will go from the trail, lie down, till the leaders have spoken. It may be fair words shall prevail. When you fight with a wolf of the pack, you must fight him alone and afar, lest others take part in the quarrel, and the pack be diminished by war. The lair of the wolf is his refuge, and where he has made him his home, not even the head wolf may enter, not even the council may come. The lair of the wolf is his refuge, but where he has digged it too plain, the council shall send him a message, and so he shall change it again. If ye kill before midnight, be silent, and wake not the woods with your bay, lest ye frighten the deer from the crops, and the brothers go empty away. Ye may kill for yourselves and your mates, and your cubs as they need and ye can, but kill not for pleasure of killing, and 7 times never kill man. If you plunder his kill from a weaker, devour not all in thy pride. Pack right is the right of the meanest, so leave in the head and the hide. The kill of the pack is the meat of the pack. Ye must eat it where it lies, and no one may carry away of that meat to his lair, or he dies. The kill of the wolf is the meat of the wolf. He may do what he will, but till he has given permission, the pack may not eat of that kill. Cup right is the right of the yearling. From all of his pack he may claim full gorge when the killer has eaten, and none may refuse him the same. Lair right is the right of the mother. From all of her year she may claim one haunch of each kill for her litter, and none may deny her the same. Cave right is the right of the father. To hunt for himself or his own, he is freed from all calls to the pack. He is judged by the council alone. Because of his age and his cunning, because of his gripe and his paw, in all that the law leaveth open, the word of the head wolf is law. Now these are the laws of the jungle, and many and mighty are they. Where the head and the hoof of the law, and the haunch and the hump is, obey. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Mary Magdalen by James Elroy Flecker. Read for LibriVox.org by Karen Smithies and Algy Pug.
Mary. Read by Karen Smithies.
Narrator. Read by Algy Pug. O eyes that strip the souls of men! There came to me the Magdalen. Her blue robe with a cord was bound, her hair with Lenten lilies crowned.
Arise,
she said.
God calls for thee. Turn to new paths thy feet must be. Leave the fever and the feast. Leave the friend thou lovest best. For thou must walk in barefoot ways to give my dear Lord Jesus praise.
Then answered I, Sweet Magdalen, God's servant, once beloved of men, why didst thou change old ways for new, thy trailing red for corded blue, roses for lilies on thy brow, rich splendour for a barren vow? Gentle of speech, she answered me,
Sir, I was sick with revelry. True, I have scarred the night with sin, a pale and tawdry heroine. But once I heard a voice that said, Who lives in sin is surely dead, but whoso turns to follow me hath joy and immortality.
O Mary, not for this, I cried, didst thou renounce thy scented pride? Not for a taste of endless years, or barren joy, apart from tears, didst thou desert the courts of men? Tell me thy truth, sweet Magdalen. She trembled, and her eyes grew dim.
For love of him, for love of him.
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Nature by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Read for LibriVox.org by Sherr. As the fond mother, when the day is o'er, leads by the hand her little child to bed, half willing, half reluctant to be led, and leave his broken playthings on the floor, still gazing at them through the open door, nor wholly reassured and comforted by promises of others in their stead, which, though more splendid, may not please him more. So nature deals with us, and takes away our playthings one by one, and by the hand leads us to rest so gently that we go scarce knowing if we wish to go or stay, being too full of sleep to understand how far the unknown transcends the what we know. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Nymph's Reply to the Passionate Shepherd by Walter Raleigh. Read for LibriVox.org by Sherr. If all the world and love were young, and truth in every shepherd's tongue, these pretty pleasures might me move to live with thee, and be thy love. But time drives flocks from field to fold, when rivers rage and rocks grow cold, and Philomel becometh dumb. The rest complains of cares to come. The flowers do fade, and wanton fields to wayward winter reckoning yields. A honey tongue, a heart of gall is fancy's spring, but sorrow's fall. Thy gowns, thy shoes, thy beds of roses, thy cap, thy kirtle, and thy posies, soon break, soon wither, soon forgotten, in folly ripe, in reason rotten. Thy belt of straw and ivy buds, thy coral clasps and amber studs, all these in me no means can move to come to thee and be thy love. But could youth last, and love still breed, had joys no date, nor age no need, then these delights my mind might move to live with thee and be thy love. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Prayer for Those on the Staff by Julian Grenfell. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. Fighting in mud, we turn to thee in these dread times of battle, Lord, to keep us safe, if so may be, from shrapnel, snipers, shell, and sword. But not on us, for we are men of meaner clay, who fight in clay, but on the staff, the upper 10, depends the issue of the day. The staff is working with its brains, while we are sitting in the trench. The staff the universe ordains, subject to thee and General French. God help the staff, especially the young ones, many of them sprung from our high aristocracy. Their task is hard, and they are young. O Lord, who madest all things to be, and madest some things very good, please keep the extra ADC from horrid scenes and sight of blood. See that his eggs are newly laid, not tinged as some of them with green, and let no nasty draughts invade the windows of his limousine. When he forgets to buy the bread, when there are no more minerals, preserve his smooth, well-oiled head from wrath of caustic generals. O Lord, who madest all things to be, and hatest nothing thou hast made, please keep the extra ADC out of the sun and in the shade. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Recurrence by Dorothy Parker. Read for LibriVox by Dianne Erdmann. We shall have our little day. Take my hand and travel still. Round and round the little way, up and down the little hill. It is good to love again, scan the renovated skies, dip and drive the idling pen, sweetly tint the paling lies, trace the dripping pierced heart, speak the fair insistent verse, vow to God and slip apart, little better, little worse. Would we need not know before how shall end this prettiness? One of us must love the more, one of us shall love the less. Thus it is, and so it goes. We shall have our day, my dear, where, unwilling dies the rose, buds the new, another year. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The All-Made Peace. What is Peace? By Ernest Hemingway. Read for LibriVox.org by Kevin S. All of the Turks are gentlemen, and Ishmet Pasha is a little deaf. But the Armenians. How about the Armenians? Well, the Armenians. Lord Curzon likes young boys. So does Chicherin. So does Mustafa Kemal. He is good-looking, too. His eyes are too close together, but he makes war. This is the way he is. Lord Curzon does not love Chicherin, not at all. His beard trickles and his hands are cold. He thinks all the time. Lord Curzon thinks too, but he is much taller and goes to San Moritz. Mr. Child does not wear a hat. Baron Hayashi gets in and out of the automobile. Monsieur Barrère gets telegrams. So does Marquis Garroni. His telegrams come on motorcycles from Mussolini. Mussolini has nigger eyes and a bodyguard, and has his picture taken reading a book upside down. Mussolini is wonderful. Read the Daily Mail. I used to know Mussolini. Nobody liked him then. Even I didn't like him. He was a bad character. Ask Monsieur Barrère. We all drink cocktails. Is it too early to have a cocktail? How about a drink, George? Come on and we'll have a cocktail, Admiral. Just time before lunch. Well, what if we do? Not too dry. Well, what do you boys know this morning? Oh, they're shrewd. They're shrewd. Who have we got in on the sub-commission this morning, Admiral? Monsieur Stambaliski walks up the hill and down the hill. Don't talk about Monsieur Venizelos. He is wicked. You can see it. His beard shows it. Mr. Child is not wicked. Mrs. Child has flat breasts, and Mr. Child is an idealist and wrote Harding's campaign speeches and calls Senator Beveridge Al. You know me, Al. Lincoln Steffens is with Child. The big C makes the joke easy. Then there is Mosul and the Greek patriarch. What about the Greek patriarch? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Thoughts at Sea by Samuel G. Goodrich. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. Here is the boundless ocean, there the sky, o'erarching broad and blue, telling of God and heaven, how deep, how high, how glorious and true. Upon the wave there is an anthem sweet, whispered in fear and love, sending a solemn tribute to the feet of Him who sits above. God of the waters, nature owns her king. The sea thy sceptre knows. At thy command the tempest spreads its wing, or folds it to repose. And when the whirlwind hath gone rushing by, obedient to thy will, what reverence sits upon the wave and sky, humbled, subdued, and still. O let my soul, like this submissive sea, with peace upon its breast, by the deep influence of thy Spirit, be holy and hushed to rest. And as the gladdening sun lights up the morn, bidding the storm depart, so may the Sun of Righteousness adorn with love my shadowed heart. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Thursday by Edna St. Vincent Millay. Read for LibriVox.org by mleigh. And if I loved you Wednesday, well, what is that to you? I do not love you Thursday, so much is true. And why you come complaining is more than I can see. I loved you Wednesday, yes, but what is that to me? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
To a Black Greyhound by Julian Grenfell. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. Shining black in the shining light, inky black in the golden sun, graceful as the swallow's flight, light as swallow, winged one, swift as driven hurricane, double-sinewed stretch and spring, muffled thud of flying feet, see the black dog galloping, hear his wild foot beat. See him lie when the day is dead, black curves curled on the boarded floor. Sleepy eyes, my sleepy head, eyes that were aflame before. Gentle now, they burn no more, gentle now and softly warm, with the fire that made them bright, hidden, as when after storm softly falls the night. God of speed, who makes the fire, God of peace, who lulls the same, God who gives the fierce desire, lust for blood as fierce as flame, God who stands in pity's name, many may ye be, or less, ye who rule the earth and sun, gods of strength and gentleness, ye are ever one. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
To a Waterfowl by William Cullen Bryant. Read for LibriVox.org by Cassandra. Whither, midst falling dew, while glow the heavens with the last steps of day, far through their rosy depths, dost thou pursue thy solitary way? Vainly the fowler's eye might mark thy distant flight to do thee wrong, as darkly seen against the crimson sky thy figure floats along. Seekest thou the plashy brink of weedy lake, or marge of river wide, or where the rocking billows rise and sink on the chafed ocean side? There is a power whose care teaches thy way along that pathless coast, the desert and illimitable air, lone wandering, but not lost. All day thy wings have fanned, at that far height, the cold, thin atmosphere, yet stoop not, weary, to the welcome land, though the dark night is near. And soon that toil shall end, soon shalt thou find a summer home, and rest, and scream among thy fellows. Reeds shall bend, soon, o'er thy sheltered nest. Thou'rt gone, the abyss of heaven hath swallowed up thy form, yet on my heart deeply hath sunk the lesson thou hast given, and shall not soon depart. He who from zone to zone guides through the boundless sky thy certain flight, in the long way that I must trace alone, will lead my steps aright. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
To His Coy Mistress by Andrew Marvell. Read for LibriVox.org by Phil Farris. Had we but world enough and time, this coyness, lady, were no crime. We would sit down and think which way to walk and pass our long love's day. Thou by the Indian Ganges side shouldst rubies find. I by the tide of Humber would complain I would love you 10 years before the flood. And you should, if you please, refuse till the conversion of the Jews. My vegetable love should grow vaster than empires and more slow. An 100 years should go to praise thine eyes and on thy forehead gaze, 200 to adore each breast, but 30,000 to the rest, an age at least to every part, and the last age should show your heart. For, lady, you deserve this state, nor would I love at lower rate. But at my back I always hear time's winged chariot hurrying near, and yonder all before us lie deserts of vast eternity. Thy beauty shall no more be found, nor in thy marble vault shall sound my echoing song. Then worms shall try that long preserved virginity, and your quaint honor turn to dust, and into ashes all my lust. The grave's a fine and private place, but none, I think, do there embrace. Now, therefore, while the youthful hue sits on thy skin like morning dew, and while thy willing soul transpires at every pore with instant fires, now let us sport us while we may, and now, like amorous birds of prey, rather at once our time devour than languish in his slow chapped power. Let us roll all our strength and all our sweetness up into one ball, and tear our pleasures with rough strife through the iron gates of life. Thus, though we cannot make our sun stand still, yet we will make him run. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Trees at Night by Helene Johnson. Read for LibriVox.org by Winston Tharp. Slim sentinels, stretching lacy arms about a slumberous moon, black quivering silhouettes, tremulous, stenciled on the petal of a bluebell, ink splattered on a robin's breast, the jagged rent of mountains reflected in a stilly sleeping lake, fragile pinnacles of fairy castles, torn webs of shadows, and printed against the sky the trembling beauty of an urgent pine. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Victim of Disappointment by P.H. Read for LibriVox.org by mleigh. 'Tis vanishing, 'tis vanishing, the last bright star that shed its cheering light upon a path whence all light else had fled. 'Tis vanishing, as night steals on the day, and slowly wraps the glowing west in its dark cloud of gray. So silently o'er me advance the shades of dark despair, and fade away the hopes that shone but yesterday so fair. Ay, when they shone so fair, and seemed as soon to be enjoyed, and I, fond fool, believed so, came the blight that hath destroyed. I might have known it would be so. There is an evil sprite that ever present watches me, my every joy to blight. I never grasped the cup of bliss, and raising thought to sip, but straight the envious demon came and dashed it from my lip. I never keenly strove to win what heart was set upon, but when I thought it surely mine, and grasped at it, 'twas gone. And now the cherished dream that hath so long, so deeply blessed, that gave me heart to struggle on, hath vanished with the rest. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The West Wind by William Cullen Bryant. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Beneath the forest skirts I rest, whose branching pines rise dark and high, and hear the breezes of the west among the threaded foliage sigh. Sweet Zephyr, why that sound of woe? Is not thy home among the flowers? Do not the bright June roses blow to meet thy kiss at morning hours? And lo, thy glorious realm outspread, yon stretching valleys green and gay, and yon free hilltops o'er whose head the loose white clouds are borne away. And there the full broad river runs, and many a fount wells fresh and sweet, to cool thee when the midday suns have made thee faint beneath their heat. thou wind of joy and youth and love, spirit of the new-wakened year, the sun in his blue realm above smooths a bright path when thou art here. In lawns the murmuring bee is heard, the wooing ring-dove in the shade. On thy soft breath the new-fledged bird takes wing, half happy, half afraid. Ah, thou art like our wayward race, when not a shade of pain or ill dims the bright smile of nature's face. Thou lovest to sigh and murmur still.
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
When the Firmament Quivers with Daylight's Young Beam, by William Cullen Bryant. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. When the firmament quivers with daylight's young beam, and the woodlands, awaking, burst into a hymn, and the glow of the sky blazes back from the stream, how the bright ones of heaven in the brightness grow dim. Oh, 'tis sad, in that moment of glory and song, to see, while the hilltops are waiting the sun, the glittering band that kept watch all night long, o'er love and o'er slumber, go out one by one, till the circle of ether, deep ruddy and vast, scarce glimmers with one of the train that were there, and their leader, the day-star, the brightest and last, twinkles faintly and fades in that desert of air. Thus oblivion, from midst of whose shadow we came, steals o'er us again when life's twilight is gone, and the crowd of bright names in the heaven of fame grow pale and are quenched as the years hasten on. Let them fade, but we'll pray that the age in whose flight of ourselves and our friends the remembrance shall die, may rise o'er the world with the gladness and light of the morning that withers the stars from the sky.
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Whispers of Immortality by T.S. Eliot. Read for LibriVox.org by Cassandra. Webster was much possessed by death, and saw the skull beneath the skin, and breastless creatures underground leaned backward with a lipless grin. Daffodil bulbs, instead of balls, stared from the sockets of the eyes. He knew that thought clings round dead limbs, tightening its lusts and luxuries. Donne, I suppose, was such another who found no substitute for sense to seize and clutch and penetrate, expert beyond experience. He knew the anguish of the marrow, the egg of the skeleton. No contact possible to flesh allayed the fever of the bone. Grishkin is nice. Her Russian eye is underlined for emphasis, uncorseted. Her friendly bust gives promise of pneumatic bliss. The couched Brazilian jaguar compels the scampering marmoset with subtle effluence of cat. Grishkin has a maisonette. The sleek Brazilian jaguar does not, in its arboreal gloom, distill so rank a feline smell as Grishkin in a drawing-room. And even the abstract entities circumambulate her charm, but our lot crawls between dry ribs to keep our metaphysics warm. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Words by Charles Harper. Read for LibriVox.org by Algy. Words are deeds. The words we hear may revolutionise or rear a mighty state. The words we read may be a spiritual deed excelling any fleshly one, as much as the celestial sun transcends a bonfire, made to throw a light upon some raree show. A simple proverb, tagged with rhyme, may colour half the course of time. The pregnant saying of a sage may influence every coming age. A song, in its effects, may be more glorious than Thermopylae, and many a lay that schoolboys scan a nobler feat than Inkerman. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Written at Midnight by Samuel Rogers. Read for LibriVox.org by Laurie. If day reveals such wonders by her light, what by her darkness cannot night reveal? For at her bidding, when she mounts her throne, the heavens unfold, and from the depths of space, sun beyond sun, as when called forth they came, each with the worlds that round him rolled rejoicing, sun beyond sun, in numbers numberless, shine with a radiance that is all their own. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
XXth Century by Robert Hillier. Read for LibriVox.org by Michael MacTaggert, Seattle, Washington. There is no time. No time. There is no time, not even for this. Not even for this rhyme, not even for a kiss. It is May. White blossoms sway. In sifted snow under the moon. I cannot stay. I only know that today is May and tomorrow June. An arrow shot from an idiot's bow. That is my lot, and I must go. There is no time, no time. There is no time, not even for this, not even for this rhyme, not even for a kiss. No time. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.